Just turn your volume all the way down.
Okay, I'm just gonna close it.
It's still a problem.
So just close it.
Yeah, for now, just close it. See if that's doing it. Yep.
Am I okay to take you? I just stood over and just.
She designed the dress, but can she budget for her future?
I'm not ready yet, but I want to be.
Help her get 100% ready.
All right, I need you over to the center, please. There you go.
Oh, there's a.
Don't move. No, that's good. That's good.
Is this good?
Uh-huh.
There's no place to put my legs.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Future of Real Estate, Tulsa's source for local real estate news and information. I'm Daryl Baskin of the Baskin Real Estate Specialists at
EXP Realty?
right.
Sabrina Shaw?
I had the wrong headphones on. And so all of a sudden I'm hearing this great background music again. But it was because I plugged the headphones in.
Yeah, we're not used to silence on the air. Dead time.
Did you have to say that out loud?
Sorry. Hey, guess what?
I said
Before
we're
we
gonna
start,
I said we're going to be nice on this program.
you said on commercial breaks.
You two can't help yourselves. You argue like siblings,
Like
brothers
children.
and sisters.
No, like daughter and father. Can we tell that
Yeah.
story on the air?
Go ahead and tell this. Go and tell the story.
Okay, so I did just turn 40, but right before my 40th birthday, we went to view a house that we had just listed, and the clients were there, and Daryl had already been there and talked to them, for weeks, and Pamela and I were there, and she said, "Oh, are you Daryl's daughter?" I was like, why, yes, I am. Thank you. So that is the joke. Bridget does an excellent job promoting
Of
that
keeping
story
it alive.
too. Yes, on Facebook. So just for everyone to know, people have thought that I was Daryl's daughter.
All right.
That is so nice. You're listening to the Future of Real Estate, by the way, with my whole family here in studio. Actually, Greer's here. You want to see? Look, we are broadcasting live on Facebook. You can see that if you log in, and you can see what Greer looks like. Which, by the way, say hi, Greer. Yeah, Greer's like, hi. I had to pay him to get him here today. So he's running the switcher for Facebook Live, and you can see that at Daryl Baskin or the Baskin Real Estate Specialists, or also TulsaLiveEvents.com, which has all kinds of great stuff, including Smoke and Guns, which we had on last week, and then we broadcast the event. Was proud to be a sponsor for Smoke and Guns, raising money for Oklahoma Firefighters Burn Camp and Special Olympics Oklahoma. We've had over 32,000 people view that video. Lots of money coming in. They've given over, like, at this point, it's like $200,000
Wow,
to
that's fantastic.
those organizations, and really proud to be a sponsor of that, and to be a part of it. It's just huge. Kind of makes you feel like you're doing something.
Hey, who won that? Who won that?
Well, there were 13 bouts,
Oh.
and so you go through the 13. Each one was different, and I was so busy working on video stuff for that night and doing interviews with people as they were coming by that I didn't keep track. But it was back and forth. It's police officers. The way it's Smoke and Guns is police officers and firefighters, like MMA style and boxing matches in the ring. It's just really a great
how fun.
time.
That must have been a fun night.
Well, it was fun for me. Had you been there, you would have been like, ouch, stop that.
I
would've
can't
been
watch
hiding
people
my
get
eyes.
hurt.
Don't hit him like
I can't
that.
do it.
I would have been hiding my eyes. You're right.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I took a kickboxing class once, and I thought, oh, I could get into this. I think I could, go against an opponent. And I thought, wait a minute, they're gonna be hitting me back. I'm like, never mind, I can't do it.
well, we do have in studio today Steve Rogers with Murray Electric. We're going to talk about some smart switches, and we'll have feature properties. Today's program brought to you by TTCU Federal Credit Union, Integrity Title and Abstract, Murray Electric, and Window World of Tulsa, plus the Baskin Real Estate Specialists. But we get lots of airtime getting to talk about our houses for sale and other things that we do for our clients as we go along. So that will be threaded in the program. At first, I want to talk about CASA, because speaking of video, it was just impromptu. Court-appointed special advocates, when I say CASA, that's who we're talking about. When I had an event, and I'm on the board for CASA, and there was a special speaker coming in, and I had some of my camera gear with me, and as I was going up and kind of just getting some things set up, I thought, I'm really interested in this story. I bet lots of other people would be interested in this story as well. So I recorded it. When I recorded it, I almost walked out in tears, because it's such a heavy thought to kind of step into someone else's world and kind of imagine what those things are, and you relate it to other things that you've experienced or seen throughout your own life, and yet not to that degree. And I posted that online last night, and I think I've got it on the Baskin Real Estate Specialists page. I know I have it on TulsaLiveEvents.com and my personal page, but it is the story of a woman who, as a young girl, was abused, set on fire by her mother. She and her siblings later became a foster child who was mistreated in that foster situation, became an adopted child, and is now a court-appointed special advocate, a champion for children, and working through that process and kind of sharing her story of, these are the things that I experienced. This is why it is so important to have ordinary people step up and volunteer to be CASAs, court-appointed special advocates, giving children a voice in the court system. And you think about this, how are you in...
That voice is important because it's unbiased. And that's the thing,
right.
It's unbiased. That's what's so important about that.
From a perspective that's outside, like somebody who's just thinking outside of that particular drama and becoming a friend to the child. You talk about the confusion in those circumstances and what a child can even think. These children, have you watched the program, or it's a movie called Instant Family?
Oh, that cracks me up. I love that movie.
It's funny and touching at the same time, because it's showing you all the emotions that these children are going through, and you can tell a foster child or a child that's been taken into the system, because their whole life is in a trash bag, literally. They're taken out of the home. Everything they've got is put in there, and then that's just what they leave with. And that's such a telling sign of what is happening in a child's life. And being a CASA, to be able to step in and say, I want to give this child a voice, and I want to talk to the teachers. I want to talk to the caseworkers. I want to talk to the parents, because guess what, folks? Sometimes kids are taken out of custody of the parents, and the parents are mistreated, and the child needs to have a voice so that the parents can get their children back. This is what's important about having your voice spoken for the child in court. Ordinary people who can walk in and say, this is what I recommend.
Okay, but ordinary people, but what do you have to do to become a volunteer? Like, what's that process?
Okay, there's a training course. A very, very good question, because it seems intimidating, doesn't it? It's like,
it seems
you've got kids' lives.
Well, and
in
I'm
your
afraid
hands.
I'd be called in the middle of the night and then have to go to where there's a big drama going on, and you just kind of hesitate for that reason.
There's training that walks you through all of that. You're never by yourself having to deal with stuff that you feel incapable of handling. So that's a good point to bring up. And you've got a caseworker, a case manager who helps you walk through that process. Mm-hmm. And it's empowering to go through and realize that you are making a difference for someone, this child, who can't for themselves. we look at what we do as adults, and we're kind of responsible for our own issues sometimes. You know, we created our own problems. These kids, they didn't create their problems. They were just born into circumstances where either no one has cared for them, and sometimes you think about these children don't. All they know is that abusive situation. All they know is the parent who has mistreated them, or the family member, the mom's boyfriend that she's not kicking out of the house, but he's abusing the kids. So this is what we have, and this is why we need CASAs. TulsaCasa.org. Tulsa, CASA.org. Watch that story. Go to my Facebook page, the Baskin Real Estate Specialist Facebook page. It should be on there as well. But it's, I don't remember her name. Kamika, I don't remember, but it's there.
Look for the
It's
video. There's a video
hour.
there.
Yeah, good to see
Okay,
it.
watch for the video.
You're listening to The Future of Real Estate, Tulsa's source for local real estate news and information. I'm Daryl Baskin. We're going to come right back, and we're going to talk to Murray Electric about smart switches, why you need those in your home, after this.
You're listening to The Future of Real Estate.
There you go. That's Greer. Okay.
So can we talk to him now?
Can we?
Be a recording between, so we can't talk to him. Ask him something.
I think we can.
Real estate agent going to be? What's the best criteria for choosing a real estate agent?
There we go.
Is it the
Hey, we can
nicest
still ask
furniture
questions,
glamour
right?
shop? No. The real test of the best real estate professional is in
Can
the
you ask
area,
questions?
just
Yeah,
like
the
you're
mics are
hiring someone
off,
to
but,
represent your best
But we're on
interests.
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
You want someone who can give
Okay,
you the
can I
best
try
advice,
to
someone who
connect
knows
again?
the market in your area.
Okay.
What is this
But you need to
Tools and
you need to
resources
mute that.
create an
I'm
advantage
trying to
for
figure
you
out
as the home
how to
seller
mute
get
it.
the best price in the shortest amount of time possible. You
I don't
want
know,
a real
turn your
estate
volume down.
professional who represents you and not the buyer. Well, how to find the right real estate agent is easy. with
If
a
you
free
go to your
report,
volume, is
20
there a mute?
questions you absolutely must ask your next realtor before you
Where
sign
does it
on
say?
the dotted line. It's a free report.
Where's your
This is a new
volume
computer.
indicator?
This is
Decide
a new
the best real
computer.
estate
Okay, well,
agent
where's your
for
volume
property.
indicator?
I'm in
Start
here
asking
somewhere.
the questions. You'll start to have a better understanding of who that person is, how they run their business, what they can do for you. And you'll find the professionals will really stand out from the crowd. It's a free report. You can get it at 20questionsforhomesellers.com.
I don't know.
That's
But these-
20
I hate
questions for home sellers.
There you go.
Here we go.
No cost, no obligation.
Now, see if
Get in
we
the
know.
driver's seat. Be a home
There
seller.
you
You're not above that snowball.
Hey,
right?
Pam figured it out. Hey, Daryl, Pam figured it out.
Hey, so
Mark it on the calendar. The day that Pam figured out something on the computer.
Hey, we got it on
Okay.
Facebook Live. We figured it out.
So-
I figured it out.
So now you are controlling that if you do. So watch. Watch.
Company. And since we sell more windows than anyone else, we can sell them for less. Second, our great lineup, from windows to siding to entry doors.
So you
work
just did
together
that
to make
switch.
your home more energy efficient, saving you money month after month.
Are you-
forever.
is-
So are we on live?
We've earned a good
So is her
housekeeping
sound
seal.
on real
Every
loud
window we
now?
sell and install comes with
what does it
exclusive
say?
true lifetime warranty.
Did you
Transferable
just
and
make her
guaranteed
sound
for
loud
life.
again?
We're
It even
streaming.
covers glass breaking,
No.
because we all
Did you
know
just make her
accidents
sound?
can happen. Visit our
See-
showroom,
see
us
what
online
kind
at
of-
windowworld.com,
so
or give us a call at
everybody on
1-800
Facebook, see
next
what
window. Superior products
breakthroughs
and
we have
special
here at the Baskin Real Estate
craftsmen
Specialists.
at guaranteed low prices. When it comes to
Hey, this is
updating
just
your
the
home
beginning.
with attractive energy-saving
When-
products, there's
when we
only
have
one name to remember.
technology,
WindoWorld, simply the
impromptu
best for
technology
less.
classes with the ladies.
Stay informed with Tulsa's news.
Okay, here.
I'm so glad I found this radio station.
Just about every day. Tulsa Mayor G.T.
Okay,
Biden's proposed
let's hear it.
$850 million budget for
Now,
2020 is now
Oh.
in the
you-
City Council. State cut.
You have to be responsible for this,
Oh,
okay?
He just
This
lost
is where
us.
Tulsa
Okay.
turns first
Oh, wait.
for breaking news. News 102.3 and AM 740 KRG.
Here we go. Want to dress thousands of homes? HomeGuideTulsa.com. I'm Daryl Baskin of the Baskin Real Estate Specialists at eXp Realty. Here in studio with, we've got Sabrina Shaw, Pamela Wright, both with Baskin Real Estate Specialists, and our guest, regular guest, Steve with Murray Electric, often called Steve Murray,
Yes.
but not.
Or
It's Steve
Murray.
Rogers.
Captain America.
So,
Incognito.
So let's
Steve Rogers is Captain America.
let's talk about Steve, smart switches, and we've talked about this periodically. hold on just a second. I'm messing around with some stuff. Okay, smart switches, and I have talked about Philips Hue with smart bulbs.
Right.
But the switches, I mean, you can run into too many devices sometimes to manage. Like in my kitchen, I've got 10 can lights. Well, I don't want to buy a smart bulb for each of those can lights.
Right. Yeah.
But I can put it all on one switch.
You can put it all on one switch.
Explain to me what you all are doing right now. What do you see the biggest trend?
People are just now starting to find out how versatile they are. And we had one of our technicians install a smart switch for a customer that wanted to control his outside lights. And after the technician finished, he went out and bought one to take home and control his lights. He fell in love with it. And say you're coming home at night, you've been gone longer than you want, you can pull up to your driveway and turn your lights on. In the house, outside lights, so that you don't have any problem.
Just from your phone?
Just from your phone.
Well, and mine are controlled by the location on my phone. So as I'm pulling into the neighborhood, they will turn on.
Oh, yes.
And that's a
that's
huge
cool.
safety factor for me of just tripping over something. You know, I don't know if kids haven't left stuff out, or that my kids are getting out of the car and, you know, kind of all running around and trying to get in. So there are a lot of good reasons, besides the fact it just saves a ton of money.
Well, and you could have fun with that too if your kids are watching a scary movie. You can make the lights go on and off.
Well, you know what I do with my Hue bulbs is they've all got different colors, and so we download the apps that do the July 4th, and you do the fireworks display, and you do it along to music, and then of course we change the front of the house to orange when it's Halloween and green and red, whatever.
Fun.
So it is a lot of fun. But the smart switches, I think, here's what I get to dabble in this stuff, Steve, because it's part of my business and understanding. For example, one of the things that we incorporate at the Baskin Real Estate Specialists into the process of selling and buying a house is transferring your smart devices. Sometimes the smart devices stay and you have to go through a process of changing the accounts and working with the buyer and seller for that. Other times you're wanting to move those with you, and so that's on our checklist of services that we help our clients through, because they'll forget everything from your Nest thermostats. You move in and now you can't control your thermostat because the seller didn't transfer the information to you. Same with those switches. But it's no longer something that is just for high-end homes. It used to be you'd pay somebody $10,000 to come out and do all this work. Now it's something that is, you go buy a product for $50, $100 and just install it.
Not even that. Some of them are even less than that now.
So what are you seeing the biggest trend in besides or the uses for a smart switch, like high-end? What should I know about something that you've done on a luxury home that I can just put in my house?
Well, we've controlled tennis court lights. People want to go out and play tennis, and they can turn the lights on. They don't have to go finding where the switch is or the master disconnect. And the other thing, we've installed a couple where single women they come home late at night and they don't want to walk into a dark house. And they hate leaving the lights on. And so it gives them the opportunity. They pull in their driveway and they pull out their phone and they can turn the lights on in the house.
Well, one of the things that again, it feels like I'm giving a commercial to Philips Hue, but that's just one of it's the application of the devices that matters, not necessarily the brand. But through Philips Hue system, I have motion sensors in the back and in the side, and so I can tell if there's movement around, because I can actually program one of my interior lights to turn on a certain color when there's movement outside.
Yes.
And so that tells me, is somebody coming home, time for me to get out of bed and greet my son who's 15 minutes past his curfew. What, I don't know. But there's stuff like that can be really helpful in just your daily routine and life. And so converting this stuff over is actually cheaper than traditional electrical work, isn't it?
It can be, yes. It can be. The smart switches we have now, they're easy to install. There's not very many little gotchas that, you start to install something and all of a sudden it's not working right and you have to read the instructions and all of a sudden it says, we got you. You can't do that. So they're easy, they're real easy to install. We've had homeowners that you go out and buy a smart switch and they'll call us up to come out and install it.
Well, Murray Electric, murrayelectric.com. What is your telephone number?
918-835-9605.
Well, we've got some properties for sale. You will find them at homeguidetulsa.com. And speaking of homeguidetulsa.com, I've got a few that I want to talk about today. One is 4121 Dogwood
Lane.
You want to tell us about that one, Sabrina?
Yes. Well, first of all, I want everyone to go to the Baskin Real Estate Specialist homepage on Facebook, and I want you to find the video with me with bunny ears on, and I want you to click on that link because it will take you to our 3D tour of the home. It's we do this with all our listings. It's a Matterport camera, and so you actually have a 3D view. Well, we have an Easter egg hidden in that home. So if you go through the video, there are text instructions, you can text a number, and you can have a chance to win a chimenea that we are going to give away next week.
And this is a nice chimenea because I bought it thinking we're going to give this away and it's going to be a good contest. Here's the fun thing. So there are about 10,000 people listening in the KRMG listening area right now, and who knows what we'll have online. But guess what? Some people are driving their cars, some people are working in the garage, some people are working in their garden, and there will be probably 25 people who actually enter. So you think your chances of winning, trust me, I've run these contests a lot. So your chances are really good of getting like a $200 to $300 chimenea. I forgot what I paid for it, but it was definitely a couple $100.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And,
just like the home.
Oh, that's right. But it's fun. Here's the real strategy too. You can have your kids do it.
Yeah, but we want people walking through this house. We want as many people as possible to see it. So, it's really advertising for us because we want people to see this home. Once you see it, you're going to want to make an appointment to go view it in person.
Well, it is a beautiful home, very luxurious and very well done, very well kept.
So,
and hey, can we talk about the Matterport real quick?
Sure.
Okay, 99% of people start their search online when they're looking for a home. Your home will sell 32% faster with good pictures. But not only do we have good pictures, we also have the Matterport camera. So
the 3D.
The 3D.
People don't know what Matterport is. Matter what?
Matterport.
It's
the best.
3D video.
By the way, it is not the same. There are a lot of companies coming out with different types. They're knockoffs of Matterport. Matterport is the standard, and it is a full 3D model. Even now, you can get Zillow, it's a 3D tour, but it's really not creating a 3D model. It's just pictures that are 360 degrees, but you don't always see how it's all connected. You can see a floor plan, you can twist it around, you can enter the back door, you can enter the front door. That's what Matterport does, and it is the best on the market, trust me, because I don't like to buy the worst or mediocre on the market. I like to have the best. And you can find these at homeguidetulsa.com. Want to address thousands of homes. We're taking a break and we're coming back with Callie at Integrity Title. He was giving me a rap.
You're listening to the future of real
That's $2. Hey, can you load that thing from Callie I emailed you? I sure hope so.
Dan won't be here though. Callie, was she pre-recorded?
I don't know.
So we know we're
Okay,
doing
buddy.
recording the speaker we had last week.
You over here to audio.
Yeah, we had last week.
One body has been recovered and 2 workers are presumed dead in an explosion at a
talking
Chicago
about Tom?
silicone plant overnight. The NTSB
What's his last
investigating
name
why
again?
a Boeing 747 plane was
Can you hear that?
by the Naval Air Station in Jacksonville, Florida.
Look how cool this looks.
She designed the dress, but can she budget for her future?
I'm not ready yet, but I want to be.
Help her get 100% ready.
Okay, so
News 102.3
I've got to go through.
Tulsa's most accurate and dependable forecast. Fox 23 and News 102.3. Chief meteorologist James Adelot.
The rest of them I've got
day
loaded.
Today. Clouds, we may see some sunshine before it's all over today,
So
and maybe even reach the 70s. Currently, we're at 64 degrees.
You need to switch back and forth, okay? Because people
Tomorrow,
are.
mostly sunny. And tomorrow's high will be 78. Monday, back to work, back to school. Well, chance of rain.
I told Katrina that. That one's really
Or stormy
pretty.
week coming up, I should say.
can't wait
Monday,
to see
82
it.
with a chance of rain. Tuesday, good chance of more
What's the
showers,
sauce
maybe
in
some
Tulsa?
severe.
You should come
And of
out.
course, KRMG
Maybe
Storm
we
Center
talk
is standing
about
by
it. You like
to be
it.
activated at any time should severe weather peak over the horizon. And 82 degrees for Tuesday with those storms planned. Then on Monday, well, chance of more storms. Or on Wednesday, I should say, more storms. High 77. So Monday, rain. Tuesday and Wednesday, good chance of storms. And the temperatures will be a little bit above or a little bit below 80 degrees, right in the 80-degree range for the early part of the week. Right now, though, it's 63, cloudy, cool breeze, and it's a Saturday afternoon.
Okay, so we're going to use these two cameras.
We have an entry collision come up, and
Okay.
it's at 40.
That one's you.
South Harbors, that's 41st and Harvard. Entry
Ready?
collision, and look for emergency responders in that area. More Daryl Baskin, he's coming up next. Future Real Estate here on Tulsa's 24-hour news, weather, and traffic. News 102.3 KRMG.
There's we'll go back and forth with that.
Urgent severe weather information.
How's that?
Like KRMG.
When severe weather is
So
in the
ours
area,
is a little
we're on
slow.
the way. Text
The
technology
video's a little
storm
slow.
center with you for accurate and dependable severe weather information. We're partnered with Fox 23 Chief Meteorologist James Adelot and the Fox 23 Severe
Is Callie going to be live?
No, it's a recorded interview that I did with her this past week.
So you thought Dan was going to be here, you forgot Dan wasn't going to be here.
What?
You told me Dan was going to be here.
He was, but he called.
Republicans say Democrats are the ones who now have some explaining to do.
Make sure you come back 3, 4, 5 times today for the latest developments.
Fresh developments raise questions about their own Russian connections.
Tulsa's 24-hour news, weather, and traffic. News 102.3 KRMG. The America Forward with Solutions.
Where's their checkbook? Where's their fighters? Why are they not standing shoulder to shoulder with
Weekdays 9 to 11 on News 102.3 KRMG.
All right, testing.
Work on
1, 2, testing.
Integrity, Title, and Abstract, Callie McGuire with us. And let's talk, Callie, about mechanics liens. So you build a house. This is something that happened in the 90s. I remember the big news expose on it. I received a call from one of the news agencies. Said, Daryl, we have this person who's closed on a house, and they bought it and moved in. They're all excited, and then someone's knocking on their door 30 days later saying, you owe me money. I worked on your house and I wasn't paid. Well, the builder was supposed to pay that. How does something like this happen?
Well, it's as simple as when a subcontractor does a job for the hired contractor and he does not get paid. That's what happens, and so that subcontractor has a right to file a mechanics lien on that property, because maybe now he, like you said, he can't find that builder. That builder has moved out of state or went bankrupt or whatever the case may be. So now the only leverage that the subcontractor has is to file a mechanics lien on your property. And unfortunately, yes, we do see where it does happen after the closing and after, you know, everybody's happy with their new home, and then they get this knock at the door,
I don't know what's
and
making
you know,
it go.
it's
Do you
never
need to
a
get
good
it in
thing.
preview?
And that mechanics lien,
then you press the-
unfortunately, does go ahead of any
So,
lien that
yes.
your lender has on the property. So
Yeah.
when you do go to sell, those mechanics liens will need to be paid for prior to the mortgage getting paid off, which your lender does not want to see at all. They want to be in what they refer to as first
why
lien
that's
position
taking
and
so
the
long.
first lien holder of that property, so that they have first access to get money back
Okay, it's just
out
the
of that
delay.
property sale.
This
Well, and
is
this is
showing
why
the transition.
lien
here.
releases are sometimes required, and you can. There's argument as to how valid those are, how valuable they are in the process, but the creditworthiness of the home builder and the reputation of that home builder can be
See
very
how it's
important
half?
as well.
You can still see it
Because
in the back.
These types
So
of
you're just
things,
seeing the
once
delay.
they start, can
So
really be
what
the
you
beginning
do
of the
is,
end. So
you
knowing
do
who you're building with, controlling
this
that
green
process
is showing up here. So green is
this is a very
there.
broad
Now when you
mention
switch,
here, but if you own the land, for example, the type of loan you choose,
so it's going to hit because
of
that's
releasing
red
that
means
money
it's in
and
program.
verifying that
You're
payments are
seeing
being
the actual
made
program,
and
which is the
not
delay.
being
That's what it's actually
skimmed
when
or
it's actually
embezzled
in progress.
through that process.
So here,
or whether you're buying buying a property and the builder owns the
Graphics 2
land and the house
where-
before you close on it, understanding the process, the protocol of how those payments are made and what constitutes clear title is not something to run around, the sky's falling, be afraid, but to understand and to make sure you're dealing with professionals who can prevent you from ending up, or at least add some extra protection to help you avoid being in this kind of circumstance, because it's a big deal.
Yes, it's a very big deal, and you know, it's something that it can be avoided if the buyer does their homework. You know, we've got to shop a lot of things in life, and I think sometimes people forget to you know, shop their builder, and they maybe forget to shop their title company, and they may even forget to shop their lender. But I think those are avenues that need to be looked at, and you need to shop in this case to make sure that you get a quality job and you get hooked up with a lender and a builder that's going to do a good job for you, and definitely want a builder that's going to pay all his bills, because that's very important to you at the end of the day when you get into that new home.
And it's how we get and why clear title is so important. This is the stuff that's happening. The very boring, time-consuming part of this there's really not much excitement that comes from it until excitement comes from it, and it's that type of like shock of how did this just happen? Well, let's peel it all back and we'll see. It's that title work. Well, Integrity Title and Abstract, Callie McGuire, phone and web address.
Yes, you can reach us at 918-749-9130. Give us a call anytime you have any questions, and you can also check us out on the internet at integritytitleandclosing.com.
Great.
Well, want to address thousands of homes, homeguidetulsa.com. I am Daryl Baskin, and we are live here in the studio with Pamela Wright and Sabrina Shaw. Time for some houses for sale. One address, thousands of homes, 5725 East 97th Place in Tulsa. Had its second showing that came in over the weekend. Or actually, pardon me, it's Saturday, so that would have been Friday. It's interesting what happens when people look at a house and they are, they start looking, and at first they're thinking, well, I think maybe I'll look around and see what else is there. And they look around and they see what else is there, and they think, wow, that first one that we looked at was really quite nice. I think we need to circle back to it. And when people compare what's available and they come to their own conclusion about what a good value is, it's so much better than when a pushy salesperson tries to convince them of a good value. And that's what I see of this one right here. Have it on the market, take a look at it, feel free, look around. But as you look around and you realize, wow, this has a big lot, it's really kind of in the heart of South Tulsa. It's not too far south, it's not too far north, it's just kind of right in the middle, where all the convenience is. Easy to get on the expressways, large mature trees. It has 2 master suites, one up, one down, so you have flexibility there. It has a formal living and dining room. The formal living room could be an office. Lots of good use there. It also has a game room with a fireplace and covered patio. It's just one of those traditional, it's like an Americana home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very nice house.
HomeGuideTulsa.com. That address, 5725 East 97th Place. Now, 4717 South Narcissus. This was part of our group discussion the other day. I said, okay, let's look at houses under $200,000 in Broken Arrow schools, period. Like with a 3-car garage.
Those are hard to find.
There were 3.
3-car garage and under 200, just over 200,000?
Under 200,000.
Yeah, we found out that we have less than a month's supply, right?
Absolutely. So what's happening is certain houses are selling extremely fast because people want a 1-story. They want a 3-car garage. By the way, neither of those are calculated in square footage. You can look around and you can say, oh, I just want to look at price per square foot. But you're missing so much more. And one of those is a 3-car garage because it's not part of the square footage. But it's a huge amenity, especially when you consider we don't have basements in most of our houses here. So where do you put all your stuff? Well, a 3-car garage is an Oklahoma basement. They're the same thing. That's what I tell people when they're relocating.
It's also a great place to park your bicycles. If you're raising kids, it's nice to have a space to put bicycles and tricycles and wagons and things like that.
And guess what? You can still get out of the car when it's raining. You know, most of the time you get that, you're like, oh, I've got a garage, but you have to get out. The whole car has to unload in the rain because your garage is full of so much junk that you can't actually get in and out. So that one, 4717 South Narcissus. And one other one, 6644 East 124th Place in Bixby. Impeccably appointed, maintained. It is just a beautiful home. Lots of luxury finishes to it. You walk into a house. One of my recent clients said, this house feels thick. And it just kind of drew the picture of what I knew he was talking about, which was like, you ever go up to a nice chandelier?
It feels solid.
But solid is like, we've used that term so much that it doesn't have the same meaning.
Okay.
And I like it when we take a word that's never been applied to that. That's what when he said thick, I was like, yeah, that's like manly. That's a manly house.
Yeah, that's not a woman word. We don't like that word.
Oh, so true. Funny. Okay, so this is a thick house if you're a man. It is a solid house if you're a woman. So it is 6644 East 124th Place, and you will find it at HomeGuideTulsa.com. We'll have some more here in just a minute. You're listening to The Future of Real Estate. Let's take a break and come back and talk about low appraisals. This is like the 3rd low appraisal. We are such amazing salespeople that we're just overselling the houses, or maybe the appraisers just aren't keeping up. We'll talk about that with Pamela here in just a minute.
You're listening to The Future of Real Estate.
Oh, that was this guy right here. There you go. That's his voice.
Hi, this is Johnny Andretti for Window World, home of the original 189 window. I've always believed that America works best when America works. That's why our maintenance-free products are made right here in the USA. Our energy-saving products save you money 2 ways. First, Window World is America's largest replacement window company. And since we sell more windows than anyone else, we can sell them for less. Second, our great lineup, from windows to siding to entry doors, work together to make your home more energy efficient, saving you money month after month, forever. Plus, we've earned a good housekeeping seal, so every window we sell and install comes with our exclusive true lifetime warranty, transferable and guaranteed for life. It even covers glass breakage because we all know
Sabrina, would you check the Facebook
Visit our showroom,
feed, please?
Will I pull it up?
Or give us a call
at check it on your phone or something. Don't mess up your computer.
At guaranteed low prices. When it comes to updating your home with attractive energy-saving products,
you can do it. Pull it up on your phone to make sure it's okay.
She's got it.
Okay.
I want to tell you about my friends.
Is it running okay?
I
Put it up to your
real estate
ear.
business
I
for
haven't been
about
able
3
to
years,
double check.
And it is a critical part of the experience that my buyers and sellers have. When I get them to the closing table and everything is prepared, everything is efficient and on time, there aren't surprises. And that's the last experience they have when they're working with me, the Baskin Real Estate Specialists. That's why it's so important to me that I have the right title company, and that's why I use Integrity Title. Claudia, Teresa, Vince, Callie, their teams, they provide great service, efficient, professional, reliable, low fees, saving my clients money. That's the kind of experience I want for my buyers and sellers. Integrity Title and Closings. Find them online at integritytitleandclosings.com or call them 918-749-9130. That's 918-749-9130.
I didn't know you did bunny ears. That was being nice.
You're the buyer, you're the seller. You can choose. And if you're a real estate professional and you're looking to provide a great experience for your buyer or seller, look them up. Get to know them at Integrity Title and Closings, 918-749-9130.
If it's important to Tulsa,
Heads up for drivers, some lanes in the IDL are now open.
you'll hear it on KRMG.
The lanes have been closed for months for construction. State transportation officials reopened some southbound lanes of Highway 75 on the east side of the IDL. ODOT says the BA Expressway on-ramp from 8th Street is now back open. This is where Tulsa turns first.
News 102.3 KRMG. Listen on air on KRMG.com and the KRMG
I
app.
was going to talk about IDL, and he said, no IDL.
Yeah.
One address, thousands of homes, homeguidetulsa.com. We'll have some coming up here in just a minute. But Pamela Wright.
The right one, baby.
You know something, we were taking pictures yesterday. And, you know, pictures are always fun for other people, but not for me. Because I'm just like standing there. I'm standing there just looking straight at the camera the whole time. Everybody else is goofing off.
We're having a great time.
One of them, they're even dancing. But after we were done, I thought, what a fun, we will come out with an ad that says something to the effect of, we're going to take our serious look, our smile, and our dancing look. And it's going to be
Girls
serious.
just want to have fun.
It's going to be serious about your real estate, fun to be happy about life, and fun to be around. I don't know. It's going to be.
Hey,
but
help
I kind of
us.
laugh at
Audience, help us with that. I mean, we can put that. We can post those on Facebook and have the audience help us with our
good
motto
idea.
or slogan.
Good idea.
You all point out that I'm too serious.
It is so funny how serious he is.
The pictures really point out how serious he is. It's like, that's why I said girls just want to have fun, because it's just a bunch of girls around this one serious guy.
Yeah, we were having a dance party, and Daryl's like, but it's hilarious. Yeah, so we need your help. We'll put these pictures out, and you guys help us with like
Come up
that
with some
verbiage that we want.
Some cute captions.
Mm-hmm.
So, now let's talk about serious stuff.
Okay, I'm going to get serious.
You know how I am.
I'm going to get serious.
Appraisal's coming in low. Now, people think this doesn't happen. When it happens to them, they're the buyer, the seller, and they're like, well, you know, why does this have to happen to me? Or sometimes they'll feel that way. Well, guess what? This happened to my own daughter on her sale. I'm the realtor, and so this happens. It just happens. You can't do stuff to stop it. This is the management process of working with so many different people. The buyer, the seller, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, the appraiser, the loan originator, the underwriter, the inspector, the insurance agent, the sometimes insurance adjuster. I mean, it just goes, the title people, it goes on and on.
Well, it seems to be happening more. It seems to be more common. And I think because of that, we should do a show where we have, you know, appraiser has a lot of experience, come on and let's interview him, because it seems to me it's happening a lot more.
An appraiser who has a lot of experience. And that is what, when we were visiting with Tom Allen yesterday, or pardon me, that was Thursday. Mm-hmm. We were talking about the change that has happened over this period of time with these new regulations that are supposed to fix everything, right? Well, it is a new management service who goes out and they are supposed to assign appraisers to do the appraisal. So we're losing a lot of the appraisers who have decades of experience to understand what cycles in the market are, what the dynamics of these things are, and we've got a management company. So the lender can't hire directly. They can't directly hire an appraiser anymore. They have to go through a management company. So the management company, let's say, gets $600. What is the management company's incentive? Is to make money. So they go out, they bid out, and they say, okay, well, we need appraisers, so who's willing to do an appraisal for $300? Okay, $300. Well, no, wait a minute. We've got somebody over here that'll do it for $250. And
so it's the bottom line. It's not quality. They're not looking for a quality appraiser.
So this is part of what's driving this current issue, is we don't have the same level of appraisal experience that we've had in the past, and also that there is a change in the market. And so there are two things at play here. Let's talk about the change in the market now that I've completely beat up on appraisers. Not all of them, really. It's really, and the only way you get experience is by being a new appraiser and getting experience. But if you're a home buyer or seller and you're dealing with this process of where is the appraiser getting their comps? They're getting their comps over the past 6 months. Now, as a realtor, we're looking at the future. So we're looking at the future, the appraiser's looking at the past, and the appraiser comes out and says, well, I see that you sold the house, there's high demand for it, but nothing else is sold that compares to it, so I can't give you that value.
And we're in the market now that's taking off. It was sluggish 6 months ago, and it's really taking off now. So are they taking that into their values and their system and their valuation?
So it was part of the issue of you sell a house, and a seller has to realize sometimes and a good realtor will advise you of this. A good realtor can say, look, you need to be aware that we are kind of in a gray area, and we're going to sell the house at the best price terms and conditions that we can based on market value and demand, but an appraiser has to come in after the fact, and so you need to have your act together and be able to make, as a realtor, make a good presentation to the appraiser, but you don't control what the appraiser decides. And the appraiser has a list of regulations that they have to meet in order to be able to put it down on paper, otherwise they lose their license to be able to
So we
practice.
learned some tricks you can do, or not tricks, but some things you can do to help prepare for that.
Sure, and talk about it. Let's give some seller's advice.
For instance, just the agent putting into the agent's comments extra things that show that house's unique things about it that would show the value, so that when the appraiser, they pick up the MLS sheet, so right off the bat they're looking at, okay, this house has these things that might add value. So putting some things like that in the broker's comments.
Well, and the appraiser could be coming from out of the area, which is a new problem. That, okay, I'm going to come in, I'll do 5 appraisals while I'm here, and they're kind of going bulk through it, but they may be geographically uneducated.
Right.
Unfamiliar with the area.
There's the other word is geographically incompetent, but I don't like that one. That's a little strong.
He's being nice.
And maybe somebody is, but other times I've gone outside my area and it is really challenging. It was a good educational experience for me. Like, I can see all the data, it all looks good, but I don't walk those streets every day, drive those streets every day. I don't really know it as well. I don't want to do that anymore unless I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and know it intimately as a professional.
Right, so the house value is going to be very different, even as close as Muskogee. Tahlequah, Muskogee. So you don't have to be very far to be outside of the area.
So,
and you can ask the lender, is the appraiser familiar with the area? Do they work in the area? And if they don't, we can request a different appraiser.
Yes, but will not every lender, if your lender's from out of town, would they know? I mean, would they really be able to answer that?
What's the question?
Well, she was saying that you could ask the lender, is this appraiser familiar with our area, or is it from outside of our area?
Yeah.
If the lender's from out of town, they might go, well, yeah, he's in the Midwest.
Now
he's
I get
in
it.
the Midwest.
I didn't connect
he's
that
in
for me.
Oklahoma, so yeah, he should be familiar. And they're like, well, there's really a lot of differences in Oklahoma.
But we can determine that too. And really, finding an appraiser who has an attitude of, hey, I don't know everything. I'm here to do a job, and the job I do can be enhanced by you giving me good information to consider. If you have an appraiser who doesn't have an ego, that their whole job isn't wrapped up in their ego, then you can easily talk to them and show them and say, yeah, okay, we can consider that, and maybe not.
But that
They'll have to
reminds the agent that you better watch your own ego. You know, really, you better approach with the whole thing of, let's see what we can learn here.
Yeah.
And what we can do. What can I provide you to show you where we came up with this value?
And lots of real estate is ego.
So much value can be lost in ego. I'm listening to a book about negotiation, and it's talking about how much value can be lost in egos.
Yeah.
And it's hard to catch that when you're in the moment. I mean, it's hard to catch it. Oh, okay, I'm coming on too strong, or my ego, because you're attached to what happens. I mean, when we sell a house, we get attached to the sellers that we're working for. We want them to do well. And the buyers, you get attached to your buyers. So it's easy. It takes work to not let your ego get in there, because we do get attached. And it's not a bad thing, just be an awareness so that you don't let it get in the way.
It is such a good bit of advice, because sometimes a home seller wants that feeling of somebody who's really strong and you go in there and beat up the other side, kick in their teeth and tell them what to do. But guess what? In real estate, it doesn't quite work that way,
right? Because
you have to get all the parties to the table. And so every once in a while, I'll hear somebody say, "Well, my realtor, he just didn't, protect my interests." And well, did he get you to the closing table? And were some of the things that you're being very harsh in judgment about, were those things that had to do with the market that your realtor didn't actually throw you under the table? They were really protecting you, and the real protection was making sure it could close. So be careful. This is just my general caution. Be careful about your harshness, and ask the question, is this representation or is this the market? And one of the things that we discuss at the Baskin Real Estate Specialist with all new clients is, look, we're coming to an agreement here. We're negotiating to put your house on the market. That's true. We're negotiating to have terms under which I'm representing you. But once we finish this, we go out and we have a challenge of dealing with the market. It's not you against me. Not anymore. It's us against the market. And we have to be honest with what's there. If you want to wait another year, that's fine. But I'm not going to be able to be responsible for everything that happens. And when you have that real transparent communication, home sellers and home buyers are much, much happier. But you have to be willing to have the conversation. And sometimes your realtor has to tell you things that you're not really happy about hearing, and you as a consumer have to be willing to hear that and not beat them up over it. When you make them feel like you can tell me stuff, give them a safe space, I think you're going to get some really good representation. That's my best advice for all sellers. Well, and
you want to sell your house, bottom line.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be so demanding and really ignore your realtor just because of your own opinions or egos. You want to really listen so that you get the house sold.
Well, we've got,
Believe
speaking
me,
of
the
house
realtor
sold,
wants to sell the house.
Oh, you bet. There's a commission check laying there on the table.
Yeah.
They are not going to pass that up.
Otherwise, they don't get a penny.
Which is why good incentive is important. Listen, 6712 West 141st Street is on the market. We are really close on time here.
Awesome house, basketball court, 3 bedrooms downstairs, office. This is such a charming house. So
farmhouse on an acre.
Yes.
HomeGuideTulsa.com. And I've got 7732 South Harvard Place over by ORU. Huge lot, almost, it's like 3/4 of an acre. 4 bedrooms and about 4,500 square feet on that one. HomeGuideTulsa.com. Go check it out and make sure you enter for the contest. Find that Easter egg on the Dogwood House.
Yes.
In that Matterport tour, the 3D tour, and then text the code.
We're going to draw next week.
Okay. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on The Future of Real Estate. I'm Daryl Baskin.
Well, good job. I like that, telling them to throw out some names and out some captions.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. You're on KRMG 102.3 FM and AM 740, KRMG.com as well. You can catch the live stream and also the podcast. if you're not watching us on Facebook. Appreciate your support. DarylBaskin.com or 918-732-9732.
So you got, did you